So introduce yourself.
I'm June Kennedy of Westwood, Massachusetts. I'm on the board of directors of the Friends of the Parkerville Schoolhouse with my husband Charlie. We're both members. The town was thinking of selling the schoolhouse back in 1989, but several of us got together and had a petition and had 400 signatures, and the town said you may have an open house, and 200 people arrived, and we assigned them right up for different jobs. And it took about 5 years before the school was ready for our old school day program, but we had concerts and schoolyard sales, but it was largely due to Bentley Building Company. They took us under their wing because they were building locally and did a lot of restoration, put a ramp, redid the porch, a lot of electrical work. Although the Friends of the Parkerville Schoolhouse, we have an annual town fundraising, and we put in the granite post fence, and we have the floors refinished every 5 years, and have had the painted building painted for three different times. We try to do all the projects with our own finances and help from the community. This Parkerville Schoolhouse was built in 1880, and it closed in 1929. We were very lucky to find 22 students who still went to school here in 1989, and they shared their stories about what their school days were like. They told us who their teachers were, what kind of classes they took, the kind of clothes that they wore, the kind of games that they played at recess, just about everything you'd want to know about a one-room schoolhouse. And on the table in front of me, I have an old inkwell that was found when the excavation was being done in 1989. And even though it has a chip, we treasure it because it is the only inkwell that was found during the restoration project.
So the students used real pen and ink.
Yes, Charlie restored many of the old desks. There were no desks left. From 1933, after the school closed, until 1989, it was a clubhouse. Parkerville Schoolhouse became the Nunset Club, where they had parties, Halloween parties, and Christmas parties for the neighborhood children. But in fact, one student loved the school so much that she was married in the school in later years. The children, on the other articles here before me, are made, some of them were made by the students who went to school. The actual building itself was made by Bernard Wilder. He made the nice model of the schoolhouse for us, and he also made this truck, which was a school bus. The students had to walk to Parkerville Schoolhouse, and many of them walked 1.5 miles, but once they were ready to go to Westwood Academy, they walked to the schoolhouse, and this bus picked them up. It's really an old Rio truck, but this, of course, this was in the 1920s. Originally, there were 8 grades in the school, but one year there was a very brilliant little boy whose mother wanted him to go to a consolidated school, so they went to the Frost School, and after that, only grades 1 through 6 attended the schoolhouse. One boy, Joe Perkins, he was the last living student at the Parkerville Schoolhouse, and he died in 1913. 2013. But in 1923, on his very first day of school, his mother had made him this little 2-piece velvet suit, and he gave it to us. He was always very proud of it. Little boys never wore long pants until they went to Westwood Academy, and the suit looks very small, but you have to remember that it was his first day of first grade, and it was shorts, not knickers, and it was not long pants. I have one student, Elizabeth Nesmith Uthus, when she was married, she was married at the schoolhouse, but in the year 1919, this is Elizabeth, and this is Jenny Richards. They both attended the school in 1919, and every year at Christmas time, students exchanged names and gave a present. Well, in 1919, Jenny drew Elizabeth's name. In the year 2001, Elizabeth gave us her present, which was a little dog. She loved the schoolhouse so much, and every year when she came to the annual Parkerville open house the first Sunday in November, she would tell us about the little dog. She kept it on her kitchen windowsill because it reminded her of her fond memories of Parkerville Schoolhouse. But about maybe 4 years ago, she gave it to us for our show and tell.
And that's the little dog right there.
That's the little dog.
Wow.
Yes, that's the little dog. So it's
What's that made out of, June? Actually,
it's plaster. I would say it was like plaster. Would you think so too, Charlie?
Some kind of composition, yeah.
Yes, it would be breakable.
Yep.
This is a sample of a lunch box a child might have taken to school. It looks like a snack box, but
little lunch pail they
a
call it.
little
right?
lunch pail. Yes.
And you have pencil boxes here.
We have
and-
pencil boxes. Yes, we do, for chalk, erasers. What the little leather one has an outline of the old man of the mountain on it, but it has the top it says pencil and the bottom eraser because students, we all know we make mistakes, so we need an eraser sometime.
And you have some. These are little hand games.
Yes, cup and ball is a fun game to play. Sometimes you get the ball in right away. Sometimes it takes a half an hour. Sometimes you just give up. Another game is a limberjack. This man dances on a board,
Right.
and it's fun for the children to do. The lard pail. I asked students, "Do you know what a lard is?" And most of them do not. And Crisco is kind of, I'd say that it's, finally we will say that it's an animal fat, but it's not very healthy. Then today people use Crisco or buy their cookies. And but I said that in the olden days, grandmother would, when she finished with the lard pail, she'd wash it out with soap and water, dry it out, and use it for a lunch pail. It has a handle.
Oh,
and a lot
right.
of the boys, it was much bigger than a little lunch box. I can just see Joe Perkins and Frank Jarvis swinging it all the way to school. Yeah.
So is that a real one, actually?
That's a real lard pail. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. What else do we have here? Oh, we have some class photos.
Yeah, no, the big one you have right there, that's one of the last classes of the school?
It's 1925. Yes, and the school closed in 1929. My neighbor Jenny lived across the street from me, and her daughter Jenny started the schoolhouse curriculum and was with me. She was a teacher in Acton, and had the same program. And several of the people on our board are descendants of these students, which is very nice. It's a nice feeling there.
And the small photo you have, is that some of the students in that class?
Yes,
That it's an updated photo?
in 1989, when we had the open house, we invited the alumni, and they were so excited to think that the school might be used again for school days. Yes, they were all in their 70s and 80s and 90s at that time. Yes,
That was nice to have.
that's very nice to have.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, June, it's quite an array of items you have, and represents a lot of the history of the school,
Right, and the
and
students
a
love it.
personal touch and a connection with the students.
Yes, and the teachers tell us the students like this field trip better than the duck tours in Boston. I haven't been on the duck tours, but I think that must be a compliment.
Oh, 'cause it's very different school day.
Well, it's a slice of history that not many people remember
That's right, yeah.
and know, so it's good to keep it alive.
And they drop them off, the bus drops them off at the driveway, and then they take over from there.
Right.
And at recess, they play old games. Oh, they march around the room to a wind-up Victrola. Yes, and play hopscotch and jack stones and marbles and hoops. You know, just old-fashioned games.
We'll have to come back when those take place and take some more photos and stuff.
Yes, it would be
Yeah,
nice to have them. Because we haven't done that for a while, so that would be good
that
for
would be good.
something to put in our scrapbook.
Well, thank you both very much.
You're welcome.
It's pretty good.
Very welcome. That must have some batteries in it.
Oops, second.